Hi class. I wanted to go over one of the problems in Module 2, Lesson 1, and show you how to use StatCrunch to do it, because I prefer that you don't do all the calculations by hand in this module. I want you to actually use a computer to do all the math and then be able to interpret the results. That's more important to me than going through each one of the steps. So we're going to look at here question 11 or 2.1.29 might not be the same number in your homework set, but anyway, it's a problem that looks like this, where you have to fill out the frequency chart like we did before. And I'm going to show you how to use StatCrunch to do that. So this isn't really what the problem looks like. When you open it up, you have to do one row at a time. But I think it's easier if you create the whole chart and then put the numbers into the web page and submit your answer that way. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this. This is a completed problem, but we're going to do it together. Okay, so the first thing is, it says the data represent time in minutes spent reading a political blog. All right, so this is time in minutes, and it says construct a frequency distribution using 5 classes. All right, so then you have to fill out the data here, all of this data with the 5 classes here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's do that. So the first thing you want to do is find that little square. Let's see if I can maybe blow that up a little bit. Did that blow that up? No. Okay, a little bit better. Find this little square here, and click on that. Okay, that will open the data into what's called StatCrunch. Okay, and so here are the same data points here that were in the problem. And all right, so there's the data points. And the first thing you want to do is find the class width. Okay. So find the class width. Let's see if I can draw on this thing over here. Okay, so class width. That's going to equal the max minus the min okay, divided by max minus min divided by the number of classes. Right? So the max minus the min divided by the number of classes. This bottom part the number of classes will be in the problem. So there's where it says 5 classes there, if you see that. It says 5 classes right there. Okay, so how do we find the max and the min? Well, we can go to our StatCrunch. All right. StatCrunch there, and if you hover over the column header variable and click on it, you can do sort table ascending. So our low number is 0 and the max is down here at 19. So we have 19 and 0. So let's go ahead and do that over here. 19 minus 0. All right, and then there's 5 classes here. And if you do that on your calculator, you're going to get 3.8. Okay? So this is the class width. And what you do with this, since you want an integer, you are always going to go to the next highest integer. All right, so 3.8 will go up to 4. All right, so our class width is 4. That's how wide our classes are. All right, so over here, let's look at this. Let's look at this column over here. All right. Okay. So that 0, that first number in this column, is going to be your minimum value. All right. So in this case, it was 0. And then to get the rest of these numbers, you just add the class width to that. So you're going to have 0, 4, 8, 12, and 16. So you're going to just go straight down, adding the class width. This is the lower class limit, right? And then the upper class limit, the 3, it's going to be 1 less than the lower limit of the next class, right? These are all the classes. So this is 4, and 1 less than that is 3. And once you get to 3, then again, you just add 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 4 is 11. Okay, so you're going to get that column there. Okay, so we've got that one taken care of. The next thing is the midpoint. We're going to do this column right now, all right? And if you remember, the midpoint is, it's the average of the lower and upper limits. So in this case, it's going to be 0 plus 3 divided by 2, all right? Or 3 over 2 is 1.5, okay? So you go 0 plus 3 divided by 2. This midpoint is going to be 4 plus 7 divided by 2, and you'll get this number. But we also know that the midpoints of the classes are also spaced by 4. So once you get the first one here, you can add 4 and you'll get the rest of them, right? There's 4, there's 5.5, you add 4, 9.5, 13.5, and 17.5. All right, so we've got this set of data, we've got this column, and maybe the next thing I'll do is this column over here, cumulative frequency. And how do we get that? If you remember, well, you start with the first class and just bring that number over. So we got 6. And then you add consecutive classes, right? So you're going to add the next class 3 plus the previous class. That's 9, right? 3 plus 6. And then you're going to say 4 plus 3 plus 6, or just 4 plus 9 is 13, right? 5 plus 13 is 18, and then 2 plus 18 is 20. So now you have the cumulative column, right? So this leaves us with these 2 columns left. And we're going to do that using StatCrunch again. So let's get back to that. Okay, so we got our numbers here. And we're going to basically construct a histogram. So you click Graph, and then Histogram, and select the column where your numbers are. And scroll down, we want frequency. And we're going to start at the min, which is 0. Okay, 0. And the class width is 4. All right, so we're going to put 4 in. All right. And the last thing I want you to do is click this value above bar. Okay, value above bar there. And then we'll do compute. All right. So this is our histogram, and there's 5 classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the count of the first class is 6. And then 3. So we've got 6, 3, 4, 5, and 2. And that, in fact, is the answer, are the numbers in our frequency column, right? 6, 3, 4, 5, and 2. All right. So that's how you get this column. Let's go back here. So there's our frequency numbers. And now we want to get the relative frequency. So to do that, just click on Options and edit your setup here. And instead of frequency, we are going to select relative frequency. Okay, but make sure that value above the bar is checked, and you can compute that. And so now we have that 0.3, or 30% of the data, is in the first class. 0.15, 15% of the data is in the second class. So we have 0.3, 0.15, 0.2, 0.25, 0.1, right? And that is, all right, let's go back to the problem here. And so that's the relative frequency column of the data right here. So that's how you generate this column. But remember what this is. These classes, or bins, I think Excel calls them bins, are divisions of the data, and then you count the number of data points that fall into each class. Okay, so you get that. The midpoint is the middle of the class. The relative frequency is the percentage of data in that class. And then the cumulative frequency is just consecutive classes. You add up the counts, right? So this last point is going to be the sample size. If you add up all those, you're going to get 20. And if you add up the relative frequency, that's 100% of the data, so you'll get 1. Okay. So I just wanted, you can answer these on your own, but I just wanted to go through StatCrunch and how you can use it. You know, this had 20 data points. What if you had 2,000 data points? It would just be too hard for you to count all those and put them in classes, and you would use another tool like Excel or something to do that. So what I'm interested in is the concepts behind this, and so using StatCrunch for me is the way to go.